Hello YouTube, this is Goda Radio Moscow here again for you with another beer review. Now I have one that I'm quite interested to try today. This is Steinlager Classic from New Zealand. Now I've never tried anything at all from New Zealand, so I'll be very interested to see what this one tastes like. But this particular beer was introduced in 1957 and it's brewed by Lion Nathan in Newmarket, which is a suburb of Auckland in New South Wales, and apparently it's New Zealand's biggest export beer. But this Steinlager are very well known for having sponsored the All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team, since 1986, and they're also known for sponsoring other major sporting events such as yacht racing, where they've sponsored a good few round the world races and things like that, and they also sponsor a lot of golf tournaments as well. But their most recent venture in that field is that they've been sponsoring US rugby teams as part of a US marketing campaign. But anyway, going back to the history of this beer, in 1957 the New Zealand Finance Minister Arnold Nordmeyer introduced his infamous black budget, and as part of this he cut beer imports to the country, and he challenged the New Zealand brewers to produce a lager of international quality to essentially replace these, and this was one of the results of that. Now this beer is produced, like I said earlier, it's produced by Lion, but it was originally called Steinlager, after the company whose equipment was used to brew the initial batch. However, the name was changed to Steinlager in 1962 in a bid to distinguish the beer from Heineken. And oddly enough, it wasn't a complaint from the Steinlager company for using their own name, which is quite interesting. I don't know why it would need distinguished from Heineken. But anyway, that was just what happened. But in 1973 the beer was launched in the United States, and oddly enough the American consultant suggested that the bottle colour be changed to green to match it more with premium beer brands, but as I'm sure many of you are probably aware, the brown glass protects the beer from light damage a lot better than the green does. But anyway, they still use the green bottles today. But there was also a point where this particular beer was known as Steinlager Green, and this was at a stage where the company also produced Steinlager Blue, which was apparently to do with the colour of the bottle even though it was brown. But the Steinlager Blue was introduced as part of an advertising campaign that involved the Blues Brothers film, but this particular beer was discontinued in the 1990s, and at this stage Steinlager Green was dropped and this just became regular Steinlager. But anyway, in addition to this normal Steinlager, there was also a Steinlager Pure, which was a premium version of the beer, but in March 2013 this was merged just with regular Steinlager, and so that beer I'm sure doesn't exist anymore. But there is also a Steinlager Premium Light, which is a 2.5% ABV version. There is Steinlager Super Cold, which is simply this beer but served at 0 degrees Celsius, and there's also Steinlager Edge, which is a mid-strength 3.5% ABV low carb variant of the beer. Now just to let you have a little look at the bottle of this one, I'll just bring the camera back up on my screen again. You can see here, just see on the thing there, but this beer actually, interestingly enough, when I was researching this, has apparently won quite a lot of awards, and it says this on the back label here: International Award winning beer, crisp, clean, full flavour, no additives, no preservatives. But yeah, just so you can see the label there. And I'll just open this guy up. You can have a little look at the cap as well. Okay, there you can see the cap just simply has the Steinlager logo, and I'm noticing that I've changed the camera settings on this and it's working a lot better, which is quite good. But there you are, you've seen the cap. Let's just get this guy out and have a little look at him. This one is, I forgot to say, it's a 4.8% pale lager style beer. So we'll have a little look at this guy. It's quite a nice bit of, the head on this one isn't too fluffy actually, it's quite bubbly. As you can see, it's a very pale lager, a very kind of yellowy straw colour. There's actually a fair bit of carbonation that's visible in this one. Just I'll give him a little smell. The head seems to be retaining quite well. Smells very grainy actually. There's some kind of sweet malts in there as well. There's a little kind of hint of, it's quite grassy as well actually, but there's a little kind of citrus note in the background. It actually smells fairly decent. Let's just taste it. It's very it's a little bit bland actually. You can detect a little bit of the malts in there. It's actually very easy drinking, this one. It's got a little bit of a kind of hoppy bite to it, but like I say, it is a little bit bland actually. There's some kind of light sweetness to it, the kind of citrusy effect. It's kind of mildly bitter actually. It's got quite a dry finish, I would say. But on the mouth it's very kind of, it's very crisp. It's really light actually. You can feel the carbonation on the tongue. The carbonation's actually a little bit zippy, but it's really, this beer is really easy drinking. I mean, this is one of the lightest beers I've actually had. You know, out of all the ones I've reviewed, it's actually, I actually quite enjoy it for that particular point. You can see there's a good bit of lacing being left in the glass with this as well, but overall I would say this beer, I actually quite enjoy this one. It's a nice kind of lager. I would say if I was wanting a drinking beer, this is definitely one I would go for if I was in New Zealand. But I can't help but think, with the blandness of it, there must be, like I say, I've never tried ones from New Zealand before, but I know there's a brewery called 8 Wired, so I'd be very interested to try that particular brewery. But I can't help but think there's going to be better beers in New Zealand than this one. This is it's quite a nice drinking beer. The fact that it's really light, I think, makes it kind of, this would make it really ideal for, you know, drinking on a very hot day. The flavours are a little bit bland though, I would say. I tend to prefer something that's got a bit of a stronger flavour, but overall it's an okay beer, good for drinking on a hot day. But yeah, anyway, it's my first beer from New Zealand. This is a little bit of a monumental video, but anyway, thanks for watching my beer reviews again, and I'll be back with another one probably tomorrow again. But I think that will be maybe a French beer or an English beer. I've got a couple sitting there to do. But thanks again for watching. And New Zealanders, if you're watching, please suggest other breweries to me, because the only ones I really know from New Zealand are Monteith's, Steinlager, and 8 Wired, who also collaborate with Brewdog that we have here in Scotland. But thanks again for watching. Please comment, subscribe, like the videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.